hang on. These goddamn international or interdimensional, maybe international, but definitely interdimensional beings, and the way that they be fucking with me. Start over. Let's just act like it just started. Just act like it just started. The cool beats coming in. You're just coming in. Cool beats playing. You haven't heard me speak yet. What's he gonna say? What's he gonna say? Just try to recreate the feeling. You know what I mean? Just. I don't know about you, Chet, but I'm feeling like this is the very first time. I'm feeling like this is the first time I've spoken into this microphone all goddamn day. Woo! It feels so good to be with you for the very first time. Goddamn music loud again. Goddamn music loud. Is it fucking music? God damn it. Adam! Adam! We run a pretty professional operation over here, you know? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Josh, where's your face? It's a good question. It's a good question. When are we gonna have a professional stream? When are we gonna be professional? How long have we been doing this? How many members do we have? Uh, 2027 when AI replaces me at work. Fair point. That's a fair point. Certainly waiting on them robots. Anyways, chat, what up? How you guys doing? I thought it was a day off today. I mean, it's about to be. What up, everybody? Just leave out the music altogether, bro. It ain't working. What are you talking about? I love the music. The music was so cool. At least, even though I was like destroying your ears and making them bleed and like really defiling your ear holes, at least it was good music. Right? At least it was a good, like... Did you see the Falcons whoop the Bills? No, I didn't actually. Was that last? When was that? I know tomorrow night the Steelers play. The Steelers. Yeah. See, Adam, I'm stacking that 8 months, bro. I'm just gonna keep making bets with you and extending it, and then by the time AI takes over everybody's jobs, you'll be somewhat of like an indentured servant to the channel. And I'll still make you work, even though AI could do your job better, just because of our agreement. So, because if I have to be trapped, if I have to work in a post-labor world, then so do you. Also, why can't we get Dr. Doom in frame? I actually got like a really cool pose. Let me see. I don't want to. Can't really see him that good though. Might have to put him in the case. Also, I don't like this. I don't like. You know what? No. You know what? Maybe I'll. I'm not fidgeting with everything. Relax. Josh is already AI. He's already sleeping right now. Wouldn't that be great? Guys, I'll tell you this. The day that AI technology becomes seamless in so far, like you literally cannot tell the difference at all, you'll never see me again. But you'll also never know. You know what I mean? So it'll be fine. I will disappear. And then you'll have AI Josh. And the only difference will probably be that you'll eventually people will be like, you know, this guy seems like he's being a little bit nicer. His takes are a little bit more reasonable. He's yelling a little bit less. Oh my God, I think he AI'd us. I think it's AI Josh. That's right. And then you'll come fucking crawling back. And then you'll come crawling back. All of these female Star Wars fans that want to cancel me, that are all mad at me, you'll all come back. Because you'll crave the authenticity, the realness. Nobody can be as actually flagrant and disrespectful and hilarious. No robot could ever replicate the absolute fucking disrespect. And I will prove that today, actually. I will, but at the same time, I don't care. So I will fuck off and give it to the robots. So that's just, I mean, that is ultimately what it'll be. Josh has been AI for about 14 months now. Oh shit. Does it seem like I'm getting nicer? Maybe I am AI. Josh, what if your daughter becomes a Star Wars fan? I mean, you know, there's like two ways that I could approach that question, right? There's like the serious way that I could approach the question, which is like so fucking boring, right? Like I could be like, well, actually, now that you bring up my daughter, I better act responsible. Of course, my daughter can have whatever she wants, can be whatever she wants to be. My daughter could be the first female president. But that's so fucking boring. You know what I mean? And I'm here to entertain you. So I will say it like this. No girls allowed. I have two daughters. Neither of them give a fuck about Star Wars. Oh, shit! Your daughter's gonna see your sexism? Yeah, probably. My daughter's gonna see a lot of things. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. Fuck it. Get in there. Figure it out. Shake it out. Figure the world out. Adam, are you ready to beat Josh tonight? Adam, are you ready? Dude, I got a win with the Tau last night. Oh my God. Played till like 1 a.m. And Tau's tough, dude. But I love it. I don't know. There's something about it. Like I'm one of those guys. I like a challenge. When somebody tells me I can't do something, I kind of want to prove them wrong. So last night playing with the Tau, it was awesome. It was awesome. Got a win. Got a win. It was great. But yeah, I actually can play tonight. Again, no member stream tonight, chat. I'm just planning some stuff. You know what? Actually, this is a good moment. This is a good moment to bring something up here. I want to show you guys something. So, no member stream tonight. I know that's kind of tough, you know. But we are planning some stuff. So just bear with me. We'll have a good member stream next week. But I wanted to tee something up. I wanted to preview something, okay? Let's see here. Where's this at? Yeah, check this out. This shit is so cool. This shit is so cool. Okay, let me pull this over here. Hey, by the way, how is the stream, guys? You know how we've been having some issues lately with the stream? Is the stream good? Audio, visual, everything good? So I wanted to tease that on Friday, I want to do a little bit of more of an involved stream. We'll probably still talk about news, like maybe at the beginning of the stream, if there's some stuff that pops up in the next couple of days or whatever. But the vast majority of what I want to do on Friday, which we might go at noon, I'm not sure. So I might I'll wake up and I'll set the stream up, I'll schedule the stream up on Friday. But what we're going to do is we're going to talk about every major Marvel character that is in the MCU right now, and we're going to discuss who should get deleted when we go into the MCU reboot. And the way that I want to do this, I want to do this in 3 tiers. So I want to do like almost like a tier list, right? The top tier is absolutely must be deleted. 100% delete this character from existence. Gone. You know what I mean? Then there should be like a middle category, which is something like major changes needed. Like this character can stick around, but major changes needed. Possibly even a recast. Do you know what I mean? But keeping maybe the canon of the character, keeping the character in there, maybe even a recast, maybe a recontextualization. We'll get into the weeds of that. And then like the third tier would be keep as is, right? Keep the character as is. And I want to go through all of these Marvel characters because number one, and most importantly, I think it'll be funny. I think it's going to be entertaining because, oh my God, are there a lot of current Marvel characters that, So we'll get into that. That's gonna be pretty wild. That's gonna be a pretty wild one, pretty fun one. So we'll do that on Friday, chat. I'm excited. I think it's gonna be a very, very fun and funny stream. But yeah, no stream tonight for the members. But we'll get back at it next week. Trust me, we're cooking. We're gonna be making some fire content, for you all. And also, I'm hoping the shit doesn't crash today when we do clips and whatnot. Man, just having some technical difficulties here in the tower. It's so annoying. Let's see here. Wow, very generous $50 holla here from Alejandro Blanco. Says, what do you think of Donkey Kong getting his own movie? Also, what do you think of Jared Leto in talks to play King K. Rool? What? No way. I'd much rather see Brad Garrett as King K. Rool because he voiced Krag in Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. Well, first of all, thank you for the very generous super chat. That's very nice. Donkey Kong getting his own movie? Hell yeah. I'm all about it. Jared Leto, King K. Rool. Terrible idea unless you're laundering money and you need some losses on the books. Brad Garrett as King K. Rool? I'm into it. Do you think Jared Leto, I mean, have we kind of figured out the Jared Leto thing? I mean, I don't know. I haven't even really commented too much on it. I'm not trying to be super rude. I think it's just very obvious. Like, people are a little over Leto, and I think some of his even like past behavior and some of his weirdness and his quirkiness, it's really gone out of style lately. You know what I mean? Certain things that he is associated with, I think, have really gone out of style, so to speak. Yeah, like cults and stuff. Jared, who's that? Jared. DD March 4th. That's my sober day. Alcohol, fingers crossed, 6 years. Nice, man. Good for you. I don't know if it's March 4th. Did they say that? I think they just said March, right? How will you decide the tier for the characters that you haven't watched, like Ironheart? I've seen Ironheart. Not the show, but I've seen the character. So I saw the character in Wakanda Forever. And then I also saw the character in What If? And I saw the character in Zombies. I know Ironheart. You know? This guy's over here like, you've never been. You can't have an opinion on Ironheart. You've never been. He's an acquired taste. What? Leto? Dude, okay. I keep thinking about what you said about the red carpet events being gross. The veil, so true, bro. Yeah, isn't that? Yeah. Yeah, it's just kind of resonating with you, huh? Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. That's what I'm feeling. I think it's weird, bro. I think it's pretty weird. It's an interesting time to watch this all go down. Yo, Josh, is that the Doctor Doom castle in Loki where Kang is? No, I don't think so. If you're asking me, like, is that like actually Doctor Doom's castle from some universe that was then? No, I don't think so. But it might end up becoming Doctor Doom's castle. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure Doctor Doom's castle is like whatever castle he wants to be his. You know. Only movie I feel like that had Jared was in Requiem for a Dream. Yeah, that's a good movie, but that's a long time ago. And look, I'm not even saying that he's a bad actor. I'm saying he's a weirdo, and I think that has become a sticking point with people. I mean, I look at The Flash. How much damage? You know, dude, it's been fucking years with The Flash, right? But when people look back at The Flash, like, are people willing to acknowledge how much Ezra's behavior and at the very least you could say the perception of what his behavior was, like, duh, like, isn't that what we're saying here? Yeah. And also too, like, everybody's a little bit of a weirdo, especially like in entertainment, you know what I mean? Like, frankly, I'm a weirdo for sure, you know, very weird, but my weirdness is like not associated with like being a sex pest and, you know, having cults and, you know, like, I again, just things that they've really gone out of style, you know, like they're just really not in vogue anymore. Ezra didn't help the movie, but was garbage anyways. Oh, the movie was garbage? Again, I can't really speak to it. I didn't see it right. I've seen a lot of the clips and some of the goobly glob, and it's surely goddamn ridiculous, but I can't really speak to the quality. Question, Josh. Is there any way we can get back Infinity War and Endgame feeling with Doomsday and Secret Wars? Do you think it's because of the lack of a setup for Doomsday compared to Thanos? Blaine, I will definitely get that. Give me just a second here, buddy. Here's what I'll say about that, because that's actually like, that's the whole kit and caboodle in some ways, right? Like, that's a big question. If you all have ever thought about that question, throw a 1 into the chat, because I think most of us have thought about that question a lot over the last couple of years. Maybe we've decided one way or the other, like it'll never feel the same, or yeah, maybe, but they have a hard way to, you know, get there or whatever. But I certainly feel like that's a big question that's on like a lot of our minds. You know what I mean? And for me, the way I would answer it is this. I would say that there was something unique about that first time and that experience, insofar as like it's an emerging thing, and there's like a novelty and a specialness to that will not be replicated probably ever again. But I think there is some magic left in that bottle, and I do think that what they are potentially cooking, because, you know, it's so wild, man. We talk so much about Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars. It's kind of wild, right? Like, I have so many different thoughts about all of this kind of stuff here, right? But it is interesting that everybody's like just so dialed in and, you know, curious about these two individual movies. And Marvel themselves, right? It's starting to look like they're really only going to have one movie next year. They have 25% of Spider-Man, and, you know, it's technically an MCU movie, but they only get 25% of it. So they really just have Doomsday, okay? And then in 2027, unless something changes, there have been many rumors of that secret Marvel project, you know, the maybe another Doctor Strange 3, whatever, you know, that thing. But so far, no confirmation of that, and so it's seeming like there's just one movie in 2027 as well. And so for Marvel Studios to just basically say for essentially 2 years, and because their last movie will end up being Fantastic Four, which came out basically in the summer, right? It's like 2.5 year time period, and you're only really making 2 movies. That's pretty wild. And from like Disney's perspective, and actually Jeff Snyder has even reported that Bob Iger is frustrated by this, and who wouldn't be frustrated by this, right? Like, Yeah, this is a franchise that should be able to make at least a couple movies a year. Used to make 3 or 4 movies a year that were all pretty big. So to turn around and say, like, we're just going to make one movie this year, and frankly, 2 movies in 2.5 years for this huge, massive franchise. But the way you square that circle, the way you make that make sense, is if these movies are some of the biggest, most important, these movies have to be vehicles for a rehabilitation and a revitalization of the brand. And that is something they're trying to accomplish. Now, I think some people make the mistake of conflating the first thing I talked about with the second thing I talked about, meaning maybe it'll never feel the same. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it'll never feel the same. And there was something special about that. But the other side of the question, and maybe the right way to answer the question, because I understand the thrust of the question more than just like the fucking colloquial, the way that you're saying it. The question is, can they execute on their goal of revitalizing the brand? And the answer to that is yes. Like, the answer to that is like, yeah, and they might have actually figured out, like, all things considered, the only way to do that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, dude, it's bad, and there's been a lot of stuff that's going on that's really, really crazy. But if you really just think about, OG Avengers coming back, Doctor Doom, Secret Wars, into soft reboot focus on X-Men, that's pretty good. You're like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's actually pretty good, all things considering. I mean, what does Star Wars have? What does DC even have? You know what I mean? Like, that's a strong fucking lineup. And honestly, I think enough pieces of what makes all of that shit good is going to tap into nostalgia for not just the MCU, but for the past 30, 40 years of Marvel movies just overall, a big celebration of Marvel overall. Yeah, that feels right, and that feels good. And in some ways, to be honest with you, like, imagine this, right? And now you just got me fucking yapping, dude. Goddamn. I'm just yapping on this shit, but, like, this is what I'm thinking, okay? In some ways, Phase 4 and 5 being what it was and the fall-off is actually going to set up Secret Wars and Doomsday to be thought of as, like, really great. There's a scenario here, speaking of, like, timelines and Kang and shit, right? There's, like, a scenario in which Phase 4 and 5 is actually absolutely fucking incredible, and it really pops off, and people really enjoy what's going on. And then the stuff happens with Jonathan Majors, and then they have to course correct, and then they bring the Russos back, and then they bring RDJ back. And frankly, that's even a worse timeline, because that makes Marvel, that sets fans in a place where they are like, oh my God, we have lost this awesome, incredible thing. We've lost the motion. We've lost our momentum. And the truth is, that's not at all what people are going to be experiencing when they go into Doomsday. Most people are going to be like, God damn, like, is this thing still going on? You know, like, is this going to be good? Like, is RDJ going to say my name of Doom? You know, like that kind of stuff. And then I think the movie has the opportunity, because everything that a lot of normies are checked out or whatever, but it's hardcore people that are really paying attention. Dude, they seem to be cooking with gas. So it's like, that could the narrative could turn real quick. Like, and this will potentially even happen before we get to the movie, right? You'll start to see it, and in fact, I'll make a prediction, guys. I'm going to predict that around Doomsday, I would say a couple months out from Doomsday, we're going to start hearing reports and various insiders, and maybe even the trades, we're going to start seeing and hearing actual reports of people saying Marvel believes that they've made something better than any other movie they've made. Marvel actually believes that this is going to change the industry and save Hollywood. And like, we'll start to like hear some serious buzz like that. Like, because right now they're forming it, and there's just so much chaos. I mean, it's so ambitious. We're going to actually talk about a story later today of how Monica Rambeau I'm blanking on her actual name, sorry. But she's reportedly shooting for Doomsday right now, meaning they're back to shooting in some way, shape, or form. They just wrapped like a couple of weeks ago. They're back. You know what I mean? Already doing reshoots, which is wild. But it shows you the scope of what they're making. It's absolutely mind-boggling, the scale of this thing, which you've heard a lot of people, Tayana, yes. You've heard a lot of people speak to this, right? Channing Tatum keeps talking about this. It's just, I mean, that appears to be what it is. Oh, Taylor Swift? Yeah, for sure, for sure. Do you see what I'm saying? So, like, one of two things is going to happen. We're either going to hear, probably around the middle of next year, like, oh, Doomsday's actually a disaster, and Marvel's doing everything they can to try to fix it. Because that, guys, like, I'm not joking, or this isn't hyperbole. This is just pattern recognition. I've been doing this a long time. So it'll either be that, or the narrative will form that it's like, oh my God, we might actually be back. And so all of that to say that when you ask me, like, will it feel the same? I think we will get to a place where the narrative becomes, oh my God, we are so back. For real. And then that will kind of cause a certain level of momentum. And that'll cause a certain level of hype and a snowball effect. And people will be very, very excited. And that's going to feel great. I'm going to enjoy the shit out of that. I think the community's going to enjoy the shit out of that. We're going to get closer and closer. It's going to be dope. And then my name is Doom. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I got crazy distracted by that question. Rossi says, Josh, don't double down. No. Oh, dude, just wait. I got something for yo ass. TM, welcome to the Nerd Vengers, baby. You are a Nerd Venger now. Blaine says, what if there's a Pepper Potts Doom variant? Well, if that happens, you know, we need some violent way to eliminate her that feels cathartic, but also like we're like, damn, you know. Rossi says, delete RDJ Doom. RDJ not my Doom. Get out of here, Rossi. Zach says, I think we can all agree that Gaia is first to go. Genuinely can't wait for that stream. If you thought Nerd Theory was crazy, just wait. Oh, dude, yeah, no, that's part of the idea. Is like, dude, we're gonna have so much fun on Friday. It's gonna be a blast. So definitely be here. Click Clack says, why are so many people showing and telling you about female Star Wars fans? They know, acting like they're trumping your point somehow. Did they actually listen? Oh, Click Clack, don't worry. I have like 3 pages of notes. And I also have a note to self. Note to self, don't be super mean to the women. So we're gonna try to walk a tightrope here. We're gonna try to make a point. It's gonna be succinct. I'm also going to be an asshole about it, because I am an asshole. But we're also going to actually try to make a point here, because this whole thing is actually a case in point thing. Like this, like they're proving my point. But I'm gonna explain it. We're gonna get into it. I have a lot of interesting things to say about it. But yes, appreciate you. Russell says, Josh, you sound like you're in a really good place. Love the energy this morning. Nerd Ventures for life. Oh yeah, Gaia has to go. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, Gaia absolutely has to go. I mean, this is, yeah. We'll talk about that on Friday for sure. She's got to go though. And then as far as being in a good place, I am in a good place. Good stuff happening behind the scenes. That's all I can really say. Yeah, and like I'm feeling physically good too. I just got over. I had a pectoral injury a couple of months ago that really killed my gym progress. But feeling a lot better. Getting into the gym and lifting heavy things, and so that always makes me feel a lot better. Very good for my mental health. So thank you though. Feeling good, man. Jar Jar's bathwater. What the fuck? Says, do you think Alpha Flight will be involved in a future MCU? I want to see Vindicator beat Wolverine's bitch ass. What the fuck? For unpatriotic behavior. Okay, yeah, fair. I think there could be some Alpha Flight thing. I've heard some Alpha Flight stuff, yeah. But it was a while ago when I heard some Alpha Flight stuff. But yeah, you could get some Alpha Flight stuff. And then, of course, there's the whole thing where, like, and Daniel keeps saying that maybe Wolverine is not going to be involved in the X-Men reboot, so perhaps he's doing Alpha Flight stuff. Not really sure, so... But yeah. Oh, Canada. Which, by the way, shout out to Trev. Hope he's doing well. Hope you guys are sending out some thoughts and prayers for Trev, man. Yeah, I guess anything else before we get into the topics? Anything else before I start yapping about this and double down on no girls allowed? What else? What else even is, man? Jay, I think we are doing a nerd theory. I think we went back and forth on it, but I think the last time we talked about it, we are doing it. He keeps Josh humbled. Who keeps Josh humbled? Doing the Lord's work, whoever it is. To be fair, Marvel will make more money from Doomsday alone next year than they did from the 3 movies this year. You know, Connor, I was actually thinking about that. I was like, you know, that would be what I would say to Bob Iger as well. I would say, because if you're right, and I would say to Bob Iger, I would be like, look, man, we made 3 movies last year. 2 of them were bangers. One of them, you know, was the best that we could make it. And everything underperformed, and it's just not good, and it's not a good look. Doomsday will make more money than all of those movies, but on top of that, if you give me the actual time to make this right, it'll fix it so that in 2028, 2029, we're not releasing 3 movies and none of them are making money. Do you know what I mean? I mean, that is legitimately the pitch. That's like the whole solution. That's what you got to do. What has to happen for you to hate Doomsday? Oh, I don't know. I mean, there's probably several things that could happen that would make me hate it. Ultimately, I think the main thing, though, and this is probably true of everybody in here right now, if it feels goobly glob, like if it ends up feeling like it actually is everybody's worst fears, like when Palpatine came back at Rise of Skywalker, I'll never forget being at Star Wars Celebration and that happened, and Ian McDiarmid comes out and says, "Roll it again." It was actually awesome. I don't know how, but somehow there was a moment of hype and people were like, wow, this is really crazy. And then I remember the big discussion next was this always a part of the plan, or did Disney break glass in case of emergency, and are they doing some bullshit? Okay? And it really seems like it was some bullshit, and it really seems like it wasn't actually planned out. So it therefore, like, I think it just ends up feeling like this goobly glob, total corporate bullshit. And if Doomsday feels like that, oh, brother, I mean, that would be soul crushing. Wouldn't you hate that? I would hate that. Oh, I would hate that, man. But I mean, I really don't see that happening. Again, I think there's all the evidence in the world that, I think there's 2 things. I think it's number 1, there's all the evidence in the world that they are putting everything they have into this movie and these movies. But number 2, I think there's a lot of evidence to suggest that the concepts around these movies are long-standing ideas that come from really good creative energy from Marvel. Meaning, a lot of the Phase 4 and 5 stuff was goobly glob filler stuff. And there's even this like new report out there. Like, I guess there's this clip of Grace that's going semi-viral where she kind of has this moment live on stream where she realizes that a lot of the stuff she heard behind the scenes about James Gunn and Marvel was that Gunn actually was responsible for bringing in a lot of the Phase 4 and Phase 5 talent. And she has this like come to Jesus moment where she kind of realizes live in the moment, like, oh my God, maybe James Gunn actually is a destructive force in the comic book genre. Like, legitimately might be personally responsible for a lot of the bad things that happened in Marvel and overall, right? Because he's leading, her point is he may have done this at Marvel and then led DC down a similar path, right? That was like her point. So anyway, it's just, it's interesting, man. Like, it is an interesting time to be like examining this industry, to be thinking about how all of this, how all of this is going, and how the studios are trying to adjust to it and get stuff back. Man, yeah. I mean, and look, in a lot of ways, it's an ongoing conversation. Like, we've talked a lot. We talk about a lot of the same shit like all the time. But I think part of why is because there is a serious mystery to some of this, where we're like, what exactly is happening? Like, what exactly does some of this stuff mean? You know? Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Where's the clip? Oh, we could watch the clip. Do y'all want to watch that clip where Grace has that moment? It's pretty interesting, man. It's pretty interesting. Okay, here's the clip. Have you guys seen this? Okay, that's actually kind of interesting.
James Gunn, before he, I think he
terrible recording.
Peyton Reed to direct.
Why are all of you guys? All of my Twitter clips look like this too. The Snyder? Can you guys just do better with your clips? Like, it's always off of a phone on a fucking tube television from across the street. Like, what are we doing here? Okay, anyway, let's just watch this shit.
I think he recommended Peyton Reed to direct Ant-Man and be like, no, what did you do that for? But I think James, and maybe that's one of the reasons that, that's fascinating. James Gunn, before he left Marvel, was recommending a lot of talent, right? And a lot of that recent talent has really led Marvel down the wrong path, a path that oddly DC is now going on. And, you know, that's really interesting. I do wonder if there's a correlation there. That's crazy. No, I don't think that he's poisoning the competition. I think that, like, he honestly believes these are great recommendations. Right? That's really amazing. Because remember, in the early days of Marvel, they were hiring more professional people, right? People who were more established. But then when Gunn came in, they started taking risks on, like, quirkier, lower down people. Oh, thanks again, X-Men Superfan. That's amazing. I never thought of that. That is really, really interesting. So yeah,
I just one analyst's take, you know what I mean?
I think he recommended.
But it is kind of interesting, you know. You consider some of the things that are happening, and all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute. Which, you know, the other part of that's really interesting too. I'll add to that a little bit. So one of the things we've sort of discussed over the last couple of years has been 5D Galaxy Chat. No, he's not. See, like, I want to shut that down, because that's what people were addressing that to her as well. It was like, oh, he's literally like coming over to DC to like destroy them or whatever. No, that's not it. He's not. He actually thinks that's good or whatnot. But I would say, in addition to sort of add to that point, there are a lot of people that have talked about over the past couple of years how Guardians of the Galaxy itself might have been somewhat of a false positive for Marvel Studios. I know Paul from Heavy Spoilers has had this take. I know Todd McFarlane has had this take, and we've actually talked about this. We brought up McFarlane's interview where he said that exact thing. And a lot of other analysts have said this as well. And the idea is this, guys, that like, there are A-level Marvel characters, B-level Marvel characters, and C-level Marvel characters, right? And what Marvel Studios did with Guardians was essentially take like C-level Marvel characters, maybe B-level Marvel characters, and turn them into really, really popular. But what that made them believe as a false positive was that they could do that unlimited. Like they found an unlimited money glitch, and they could take the most obscure characters, the most B-level, C-level characters, which, like, frankly, as most things in life, the vast majority of the catalog is goobly glob characters. The cream rises to the top, right? So the select group of awesome characters that have somehow risen to the top of popularity for whatever reason, those are like your S tier, A tier Marvel characters, the ones you sold for the most money for the licenses in the 90s and shit, right? So it's obvious these things are not created equally. But Marvel, of course, Marvel Studios, coming in and creating Marvel Studios with the sort of misfit band of toys, because they had to buy licenses back and they could only afford 10 characters, and they decided to go with Iron Man as the first one. It's a classic story. Most of you know this story, okay? But the point is, Marvel, with Guardians specifically, convinced themselves that they could make any obscure character. They could take all the B-level, C-level, D-level characters, and because it was Marvel and because they could bring a certain aesthetic and a certain style to it, they could make any character work. Guys, that is at least a part of what I talk about when I say Phase 4 mentality, and I'm like, Phase 4 mentality. This is actually a huge part of it, you know? And we're going to talk about the leaning into, you know, the basically trying to change the brand into girl brand stuff, because that absolutely happened as well. I know, we're losing our minds. Some people can't fucking handle it. That was a part of it as well, turning the brands into girl brands for appeal across the Disney brand, the suite of brands. But also this idea. And this idea was kind of specific to Marvel, unfortunately. Star Wars didn't really have this same problem. I mean, Star Wars is almost doing the opposite, where you had like the Kenobi show and the Boba this and that, right? It was Marvel specifically that was like, oh, we can actually make like a Hawkeye, we can make a Moon Knight, we can make a Miss Marvel, we can make a She-Hulk, we can make any goddamn thing. Any goddamn thing. Open up a comic book from any fucking comic shop over the past 60 to 70 years. Just fucking open it up. Boom. Find a character on a random ass page. We can turn it into a hit. Okay? That is a huge part of what I talk about when I talk about the Phase 4 mentality. That was a part of it. That is proven just, I think, frankly, to not be correct. And the worst part of it is the fatigue of that, the fatigue of B and C and D level characters has just, like, because you thought you could pull that off and you just slammed so much of it out there and you threw some of it just down people's throats, that now you've fatigued people on the very formula itself. You have actually taken things that people really enjoyed about Marvel and actually made them kind of cringe at it and not like it as much, which is like fatigue building into like resentment, right? It's just normal human behavior. This is something that happens, right? So another example is in when COVID happened and everybody was locked down, divorce rates skyrocketed, right? Divorce rates skyrocketed because they couldn't get away from each other. They couldn't have space, and therefore every little problem accelerated and became multiplied, you know? So it was like we were locked in with shitty Marvel stuff, and we want a divorce now. You know what I mean? Like it's beyond like, hey, I don't really like it when you chew with your mouth open. It's more like, if I even hear from the next room, your fucking gums flapping with food chomping and flowing around in your fucking mouth, I am gonna sum through the wall like the fucking Kool-Aid man. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it's become. That's what it's become. Anyway, I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. Put the music back on. I need a nap. I need a nap. The Sink Lord, appreciate the 10 spot, says, Josh, our nerdy anchorman doing what the good Lord put him here to do. Having salon quality hair and reading the news. Anchorman quotes. Let's get hot and nasty and nerdy, y'all. Hey, appreciate you, man. Thank you. That's kind. Very kind. Very kind. So anyway, the point being, like, people are talking about that take that Grace had. People are kind of thinking about this a little bit. And the irony being, I mean, you know, Sony followed suit, DC followed suit, the boys, like everybody was like, oh, we can go wide and obscure. Yeah. Oh man, yeah. It's just like, damn. Start to think about that a little bit and you're like, whew, what's that mean? What's that mean exactly? I don't know. I'm not sure. I did hear rumors of Gunn out if they sold. I mean, I've heard those rumors too. I don't believe them. You know what I mean? I really don't. That seems so... Like, do you guys actually think that? I think it's like borderline a meme. I don't know. I guess technically I could see a scenario in which it happened, but I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. Yes, you do? Wow, some of you guys actually do? All right, let me pull up a tweet. Let's talk about female Star Wars fans. Let's have a nice little nuanced conversation here, yeah? The COVID comparison is great. Thank you. I don't always nail it. Every once in a while, some smart shit stumbles out of my mouth. You know what, guys? Give me just 1 second, if you will. We're gonna get into this. I've got a lot of thoughts. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be nuanced. It's gonna be controversial. It's gonna be spicy. It's gonna be all those things. But give me just 1 moment here, guys. I will be right back. Oh, I feel like I need more coffee. Also, we have to test and see if the stream's actually recording. Let's do a little test. Let's do a little test recording, see if it glitches. I did try to fix it. We'll see. This is the test, right? Let's test it out. Let's test it out. Chat, test it out. Test it out. Do you think it'll work? Are we crashing or not? Because it'll crash when I end the recording. What do you think? Yes or no? Is it going to crash? Put me a little yes. Give me a little no. Give me a little yes. Give me a little no. Huh? What you think, huh? Hey, what you think, huh? Uh-oh. No? And that's why Josh is not a pop star. True. Nervous gulp. Uh-oh. Yes, yes. Oh, no. Den of glitches. A little. Is it glitching? Is it glitching right now? Is it glitching right now? Is it glitching during it? It doesn't look like it's glitching to me. I'm going to move my hands really, really fast. Yesterday was hilarious. I'm glad you had a good time, man. I had a good time, too. It was a good... I don't think we're glitching. All right, I'm going to end the recording. All right, I'm going to end the recording. Let's see. Let's see if we freeze. See if we freeze. See if we crash. Let's go! Hell yeah! Woo! Let's go, baby! What are we doubling down on? About to find out. Okay, that's cool. Okay, that's cool. Okay. All right, let's talk about no girls allowed in Star Wars, female Star Wars fans in this whole situation. Now, here's the deal. Okay, this segment is going to be fun. It is going to be controversial, but I am actually going to try to make a point. And I think, the first thing I'll say, right, is that I'm obviously joking about there being no girls allowed in Star Wars. Just out of curiosity, did you guys know that it's a joke? Like, do you think people realize it's a joke? Or do you think people actually think that I think that there should actually be no girls allowed in Star Wars, right? Because it's like, it's kind of funny how people have taken it and how people are taking it or whatever. But to me, I would say this: it's obviously a joke, and part of what makes it so funny is that it's so obviously a joke to me. And also, there's a part of it that makes it funny to me because people get so upset about it. Like trying to, make it a serious thing or like take it as this big serious thing. But here's the deal, right? As with all jokes, there is a bit of truth. There's like some realization, there's like some underlying truth here that makes it funny. And so, to try to get to the core of like, what is that or what is the truth there? And I think it's like, I'm going to try in this segment to explain why I personally think this is kind of a case in point teaching moment for not just Star Wars and Star Wars fans, but really like probably companies, people that maybe potentially are in control of some of this IP, PR people, HR people, and also like fans that don't want what happened to Star Wars to happen to other brands. Okay, because like, there is an actual point here that does actually point to an uncomfortable reality about what has actually happened to the Star Wars brand, right? And we can be funny about it, we can joke about it, and all that sort of stuff. And I think there's, I guess the other thing that I would say is, it is going to be impossible to not offend people with this take, because you have to understand that, like, what I'm really saying here is that everything that just happened over the past 4 to 5 days is actually a perfect, it actually is case in point example of what actually happens to a brand when you do what Star Wars did over the last 4 to 5 years, which majority was try to court a female audience. So I'm actually literally saying like, oh, the way it is right now with like all of you and how you're acting in the fandom is legitimately the extension of various bad decisions. And frankly, it's a bad look, and it's not a good time. Like it's literally not a good time. Okay. So what am I talking about? Like what even happened? Right. Which, by the way, just out of curiosity, how many of you are aware of what happened? I think here, most of us are actually pretty aware, right? And of course, this has to do with some tweets that I made, but it also has to do with Nerd Theory Monday night, and then it has to do with the reaction from a bunch of fans out there on the internet. Okay, now the TLDR. And I can go back to it here, is that what actually started this all, and it's actually important to remember this, okay? What actually started it all is this tweet here, right? Which is a tweet I made after it was announced that there was a romance novel coming out for Star Wars. The first ever romance novel was announced at New York Comic Con. And also the thrust of the big presentation for publishing at New York Comic Con for Star Wars is around these two books. A book about Rey being trained by Leia in between the sequel movies, Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, and this Eyes Like Stars romance novel, right? And so the point I was trying to make, or I guess the point I was trying to make in a nuanced way up until maybe this moment, was that it's actually not that crazy to discuss how a corporation puts certain things into play for an IP, a franchise, and a brand to try to court more females. And essentially what that means is they did try to take Star Wars in more of a female-friendly direction, therefore changing what it was when they purchased it to make it something different that would fit better in with what Disney wanted to do. And to be honest with you, there's like a good way you could have done that. There's a bad way that you could have done that. The truth is, though, it's a very reductive Hollywood way of thinking. And a lot of the way this was executed poorly actually comes from a word that a word called praxis, actually. And what praxis is like the execution of ideas. It's where like ideas meet execution. And what I really mean to say here, and again, this is very nuanced. Some of this is just going to fly over some of your heads, and you're going to get hyper fixated when I say that the female Star Wars fans were kind of lippy in the way that they responded, right? So some of you are just, you're not going to be able to like catch the highbrow nuance of what I'm saying. You're just going to get mad, and that's fair too, because I'll give you what you want, and I'll talk about how emotional the reaction was. You know what I mean? And you can be upset about that. But like what I'm really saying here is the idea was poorly conceived. It was a corporate, lazy slop way of thinking about it. And then also the execution of that, which ultimately could have been executed in a good way, which would have been copacetic for all fans involved and actually maybe made Star Wars really cool, was fumbled. And it was fumbled because the corporation doesn't actually care. They don't actually get it. And they've been caught many different times, even within their own fans, of like getting really mad at them. I think one of the underlining stories of Star Wars that we don't talk a lot about because, well, just frankly, like I don't really talk about Star Wars that much, right? But the truth is, a lot of their female fans around the time of Rise really turned on them. You know what I mean? Because of Reylo stuff, just in general, the weird stuff they did with Rey. Like, there's a lot of division even within that group. And then this very novel is brought up, and there was a lot of pushback over the weekend from feminists, from Star Wars feminists. So the female side of the Star Wars fandom itself had like a civil war over this book before I ever even talked about it on Monday over the weekend, right? And that is like, because that group, which again is a group that like Disney frankly courted and tried to like bring in, is, I mean, and I don't know how else to say it, they're just like the worst group of fans ever. Like that is a bad group of fans. They are finicky. They are super opinionated. They don't necessarily have even a strict idea of what it should be. You know, I think some of the worst characteristics that you could say about these people is like they're tourists, right? And I know that it's like gross, and some people are like, "Oh, it's so toxic. Like, you can't say that. Like, you can't." But that shit does actually happen. There is some truth in that. Okay. So anyway, I've been having what I felt was a very nuanced opinion, and tried to have a very nuanced conversation about this very point for years and years and years. And then, so for me, guys, I arrive at a point in 2025 where I decide that I'm going to come back to Star Wars. I'm going to start covering Star Wars again. And, you know, I go back to the show with Star Wars Theory and Nerd Theory. And Star Wars is just generally a little bit more on my radar. I've been covering Star Wars more on these streams. More Star Wars clips have been hitting the channel. Maybe you've noticed. I've re-engaged Star Wars as a fan. And to see this book, this romance novel, at New York Comic-Con was like a cows come home full circle moment of like, holy shit, I don't know if there's ever been a better example of how Star Wars has become a girl brand, or has tried to become a girl brand, than they are literally making romance novels here. And like, that is such a mild take. Like, really. Like, that is a mild take. Like, that's chill, you know? But then the reaction to that I found was very interesting. So this tweet in and of itself, right? Like, this isn't even a big tweet. Now, it has 218,000 views, mostly because it has 162 reposts or quote tweets, right? 163 likes and 162 reposts. Okay, now that's actually important. That's actually important. You got to check. You got to keep that in mind, because I'm going to make a point with this too. So when you look at this one, right? No girls allowed. And what is this tweet? Like, what is this and what happened? Why did I like lean in to all of this, right? Well, I leaned in to try to make a point. I leaned in to try to like, basically, I wanted to, so it's basically like this. For the longest time, I've been trying to have this nuanced conversation about this. I've tried to talk about it like this, that, second, and the third. And yet, every time I do that, I am looked at as sexist, bigotist, or toxic, or wrong thing, right? So that I get put in that bucket either way. And so I was kind of like, okay, so what if I just like lean into it? What if I just go the whole way? What if I'm actually taking the stance of no girls allowed in Star Wars? And it's in jest, it's a joke, but the idea was, let's push it so far that the other opinion, the opinion that I actually have, looks so tame and mild by comparison. Okay, so this is like a psychological technique. People do this sometimes to try to like break patterns, especially for people that are like really, really stuck on stuff. Sometimes like there's a concept in psychology known as like only one person can be in the angry boat. So sometimes if a person comes to you and they're like, oh, I'm so mad. They have all of this construction work on the road up the street and it took me forever to get home. Sometimes, and this is just like a Zen thing, it's a psychological thing, you might say, I can't believe they're doing that. Let's go. Let's get in the car. I'm going to drive up there. I'm going to kick all their stupid little cones over. I'm going to get my cell phone out and start harassing the workers. I can't fucking believe this. And the other person naturally usually is like, whoa, 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 dude, I'm just mad about the fucking traffic. But you see, the idea being, if I take the thrust of your opinion and I take it to its absolute extreme, then I'll actually show you that the conflation you're making between the extreme opinion and the very mild one is very real. Does that make sense? Are you picking up what I'm setting down? Does that make sense? For some of you, it's probably doesn't make any fucking sense. But maybe for some of you, you understand where I'm going with this. So I was trying to make a point, right? What's the point? What's the point? What's the point? I wanted to prove that it's not really no girls allowed. How fucking obvious is it? It's obviously not that. It's obviously not that. Okay? Now, the irony is, chat, look at this fucking tweet. Okay? No girls allowed in all caps. It has 115 likes. This tweet ain't shit. I shitpost, troll, throw random stuff. I'm a shyster. I'm fucking chaos, man. I throw so much wild shit out there. 115 likes? Get the fuck out of here. This is one of the most irrelevant tweets I've ever made. And I've had fucking bangers, dog. I mean, I got dunked on by Gun. I got ratioed by Invincible. I'm out here, baby. 115 likes. Get the fuck out of here. Nobody saw this fucking tweet until a bunch of definitely not overreacting and over emotional and making it all about them Star Wars fans found the tweet and blew it up. This tweet has 115 likes. It has 355,000 views. I don't even think you have to be an internet wizard and really understand like what's a normal views to like ratio here. Do you know what I mean? But this is obviously not normal. This is not a normal tweet. Okay? And so the reality is there was this wild fucking overreaction. This really emotional reaction. And literally to this, you can go on Twitter right now, chat. You can go on Twitter right now and put into quotes, well, just search no girls allowed. Just search no girls allowed. Because it literally got to the point where a bunch of these female Star Wars fans are they made a trend. It became a trend. Did you guys see the trend? In all seriousness, I actually want to know, did you see the trend or not? Where they're saying no girls allowed, and they're posting all of these images of like them getting into Star Wars or all of their this, that, second, and third. Did you guys see that? Did you see it? I'm actually trying to make a point here. Did you see it or not? Did you see it? No? Look it up. Look at it right now. You can go check it out right now. And actually, like, on the one hand, it's like, if I'm being serious, like, that's actually kind of sweet. Like, it actually was kind of sweet. Like, I saw it and I was like, oh my God. Like, this is actually kind of sweet. Like, they're all like they're all getting like, you know, really fired up about it. And they're all like, no, I belong. And like, you know, it's kind of cute, to be honest. But it is also, I mean, it is, and this is the part that like everybody's going to get really mad at me about, but like, it is a very female thing to do. Do you know what I mean? Like to take a small innocuous tweet of a person that has been trying to have a nuanced conversation about this for a long time, okay? And then to then get so upset about the point that the person is trying to make, that you make a trend and you try to show everybody how you're a fan, is like just a really female thing to do. And it's fine. Like, it's fine. And to be honest with you, I'm actually not, it sounds so icky and all that. No, like, I'm actually not trying to be rude about this. Like, you guys actually proved my point perfectly. Like, and here's the other thing. It also shows how small Star Wars has become. The other thing that's kind of sad about the whole situation is like, this is like the biggest, most exciting thing that some of these people have had to latch onto for months. And it's a fart in the wind. It's not making any impact really at all. And that's because, and here's the full circle moment, this is the real cancelable offense. This is like, oh shit, Josh, you shouldn't say this. Because the truth is, Star Wars is basically dead. Because they did turn it into a girl brand. And oh man, that's not gonna make me any friends. You know what I mean? And oh shit, that you shouldn't have said that. But what other explanation really is there? Like, I'm actually not being as much of a dick about this as you guys think. Again, like, there's people, if you're within that community or you're sitting there, like, I'm sure this is shocking, like, offensive, crazy stuff. But the truth does hurt. And I'm at a place, like, where I'm like, I'm not trying to be, like, rude about it, but I can't take your feelings into consideration over what I consider to be, like, actual fucking brand damage and the actual destruction of stuff that I really, really like. So the irony is, you have actually shown exactly what Star Wars and the Star Wars fandom really is in 2025. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't have another way to explain this. And I would say, and again, it's like, guys, like, it could not matter less how that group reacts to what I'm saying right now, because it's kind of over. Like, if all the shit I did on Monday isn't going to light up the fucking, it's over. Like, Star Wars is so dead that even this, I don't really think is going to make much of an impact or actually, like, do much of anything, right? But I think maybe just for some people that want to have maybe a little bit of a more nuanced understanding of, like, what is going on in Josh's head? Like, why is he saying some of this wild shit? Like, why is he so, like, I wanted to kind of explain it like that. I would also say that, like, legit, and I'm not trying to be a dick, but, like, legit, if I were a business owner, if I were somebody in HR, PR, somebody above, like, the re and the void and the social media shit, like, I would actually take a hard look at some of the stuff I'm talking about here And I would legitimately consider the downwind effects of certain decisions you'd be making to cater to certain types of fans and actually create a culture and an environment that supports the types of fans that I think are actually pretty destructive to brands. So, you know, and like, look, I'm sort of privileged in a sense that I can like just come out here and say this shit, because I'm a little bit isolated from, you know, frankly, the consequences of it. But also, like, genuinely, guys, a lot of you guys know me. A lot of you have watched the content for years. I think, you know, and also too, I will say, some people reached out to make sure I was okay. You know, I hope she doesn't mind me saying this, but Star Wars Meg reached out to me to make sure that I was okay. And like, I had a conversation with her about it, and it was obvious to her that I was joking, and she watches my content. She gets it. I'm a shyster, right? But I also felt like, how can I try to show people like what I'm actually getting at? And like, maybe it's a little bit uncomfortable. And honestly, you could totally disagree. Which, by the way, like, you know, it kind of seems like maybe Theory would, right? Maybe Theory would disagree with this. Maybe you disagree with this. That's fine. But I just want to tell you, honestly, this is how I see it. And also, too, like, none of this shit really affects me. Again, seriously, I've been through some crazy shit. I got ratioed millions of views by Invincible. I got ratioed millions of views by James Gunn. 115 likes, less than 200 quote tweets from a bunch of butthurt, angry feminist Star Wars fans is literally nothing to me. It's like a fly, you know? So don't worry about me. I'm chilling. I'm good. But Star Wars, maybe not so much. So that's the take. That's my thoughts. What do you guys think? Was that wild? Should I get canceled? Do you have some strong rebuttals? I guess your mileage probably varies. I don't think anything I said was too radical or too crazy. I think that there might be an uncomfortability with some of this. Yeah. No, be you. I hope Josh never stops talking shit. Oh, don't worry, man. It's just in my nature. Can you ask Theory to ask Meg for a face reveal? What? Makes me feel old. Hell yeah. You did just the right amount. Oh, hell yeah. Josh needs some hugs? Oh, I'm good, Brixie. Dude, I'll tell you, my son needed some hugs this morning, though. Dude, yeah, I don't know. He was just in a funky mood, and I actually was just like, it's so nice to give him a big hug and try to make him feel better. But me, no, I feel pretty good, actually. Do a Meg collab so that they know you like Whammon. It's more important to me that Meg knows. You know what I mean? Meg's honestly a really good person, man, and a great ambassador for the Star Wars brand. Look, I've said this before, but I'm actually not joking. I can say this with authenticity. I wish I was more like Star Wars Meg. Like, she is very even-handed. She does not get overly emotional about things. I mean, maybe she does, but usually not. I think Meg is a great gift to the Star Wars fandom. Baby Bird says, not caring is the way I go. I'm not offended. Well, thanks. I mean, you know, again, I think there's a tendency to conflate what I'm saying with like, oh, legitimately no girls allowed. And that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the company made decisions that ended up getting us to a bad place. You know what I mean? And I think there was two sides to that. One was like, they made some really dumb decisions, didn't have the right people to execute on plans that they didn't even fully understand. But the other one is like, they didn't listen to the like ebb and flow of the fans. Like the fans, they should have felt what the fans were giving them as far as feedback a little bit more. We love the Lady Avengers in here. Yeah, of course. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely. Look, I think that whole thing is so silly, right? Where it's like, I'm not going to... Like, look, obviously what we say is important, and we have sort of control over the tone and, you know, what we say, and also too, we have control of, like, how do we correct what we said in the past, or how do we feel about things, and we can change and be dynamic. But I think, like, these days, you know, there's just so much of the communication that's bad faith, and I think it's unfortunate because trying to explain yourself to people that are bad faith is maybe one of the biggest wastes of time that a human can do. And so that has unfortunately led to a place where discourse is just really generally bad, because I'm not even going to extend most people the courtesy of, like, actually explaining myself. But that's just like a bandwidth thing, and it's also like just the rules of the internet, you know? I missed your super? Okay. Tim says, Josh be like, now this is rage baiting. Yeah, a little bit, huh? Eric says, what up, Josh? Hope all is well. Doomsday needs to be a spectacle for the MCU to live. Robert Greene is incredible. Would you suggest his other books? Yeah, oh yeah, Robert Greene is an exceptional writer. And I've read a lot of his work, yeah. Yeah, I think he's pretty good. He's exceptional, man, you know? Chicken or egg, bad faith, respectfully, brother. Who did bad faith first? I cannot follow you on that. It seems like there's a point there, but I don't know what it is. The problem isn't women liking Star Wars. It's the brand pandering to over-commercialized view of what women want, which alienated their core male fan base. Holy shit. That's maybe the most succinct way to say it I've ever experienced. That's actually 100%. Let's repeat this. Can I pin this? Can I pin this comment? Pin message. I'm pinning this. The problem isn't women liking Star Wars. It's the brand pandering to an over-commercialized view of what women want, which alienated their core male fan base. Holy shit. I don't know if it's ever been said better than that. I think that's exactly what it is. I think that's exactly what it is. Yeah, well done. I think they need to recast everybody in Doomsday to female characters. That will the movie make money. Okay, interesting. We'll talk more about that on Friday. Mm-hmm. As much as we shit on KK, George deserves some of the blame as well, and Filoni for the state of Star Wars. Yeah, that's fair. That's my alt account. I'm back now. Remove the message. It's a terrible point. He's goobly globbing. Because George had to deal with it then, KK, while KK was shitting in the bed. So in my eyes, it's egg. The fans are the egg that was on the earth first. Dude, are you speaking in parables right now? Are you having a religious experience? I can't really follow it, but I'm very happy for you. Star Wars has illustrated a man's hatred traits recently. I don't know what that means. I literally don't know what you meant by that. Women seem to want to ship every character when it comes to inorganic and unnatural. Well, that's a take. I don't know. I don't know that I agree with that. See, like, you know, it's a little bit of a problem here, you know? I come out and say some stuff, and then people are like, yeah, women just like shipping. And it's like, it's not really what I'm saying. It's actually not really what I'm saying. But he's been chatting the entire time you were talking. He's just mad. I don't know what that means, brother. Guys, are we on a delay or something? Is this thing on? Yeah. Josh was shipping Raylo chatter. You know what's wild, dude? So fuck Elon too, you know, which is like, I don't know, maybe Elon's okay, but fuck what he did to Twitter, bro. Twitter is such a cesspool. So part of the reason that, like, none of you guys know about the trend of, like, no girls allowed. It's just so cute. It's so cute. The part of the reason that you guys don't know about that is because your algo didn't show it to you. Me being a part of it, like, sort of central to all the retweets and everything, I got shown, like, all of them, Johns. And then the other thing that's wild is, dude, I saw so much Raylo shit yesterday. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, Elon was like, oh, you like complaining about Star Wars and arguing with females? I got a bunch of the weird shit for you. And then just flooded my fucking timeline with, like, a whole bunch of weird shit. Fuck you, Elon. Rossi says with a 5 spot, the real issue is that Justin is destroying Star Wars with his hate. If Justin fully embraced Star Wars again, he could save it. He's just a hater. Or, Rossi, or we could all embrace Warhammer together. All right, that's probably enough. Let's get this clip out there and get canceled. What do you say? Get that music going up a little bit. Turn that up. Are girls allowed on Warhammer though? No! With a few exceptions. No, play that other song again. That was nice. Yeah. Yeah. Is ranch allowed on Warhammer? No, sorry. Star Wars didn't need to change a dang thing to appeal to the ladies. My girl loves the Clone Wars, but couldn't stand to even finish the Acolyte. Yeah, and so look, here's another thing that's kind of funny about this, Lightning, and you're making me feel like recording and yapping for another half hour about this. You know, I don't know what it is about the insatiable appetite that you guys have for this type of content. I've been trying to move on for like 6 years. But anyway, the irony, of course, being that because, and this is what I was talking about when I said praxis, this is what I mean. They fucked it up so bad, half of the women hate them now. It's the same thing with the novel, the romance novel. Half of the women hate that idea because they think it's misogynistic that Disney says you should like romance. Okay, which again is like, you take 2 steps back and say, this is the worst fans ever. Fine, but let's move on and let's get like more to the point. They did this to appeal to females and they fucked it up so bad they haven't even actually gained with females. Like all the everything's down. Like, do you see what I mean? So like they didn't even actually, and it's not because it didn't come from a good place. It's goobly glob. It's corpo cookie cutter. Put you know, you're gonna like her because she's a female kind of thinking. Like that is literally, and at some point, people should stop getting mad at like motherfuckers like me, and be more mad that like, holy shit, like, yeah, I guess they did do that, and they did fuck it up pretty bad, and they made it like so bad that now, like, oh my god, it's actually not Josh's fault. Holy shit, you know? Anyway, we're traumatized and this is our therapy. Oh, okay, gotcha. Right on. Whatever, man. Whatever you guys need, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. Does Feige let Gunn come back to the MCU after Warner Brothers is sold? What do you guys think? Do you think that should happen? Yes or no? Anakin says, with a 10 spot, that's very generous, man. Thank you. Says, I agree with you 100%. Obviously a joke, but there is nuance to the take. They tried to pander to a non-existent female audience. Non-nerdy females. Girl coded the brand and made it lame. Nerdy girls, not problem. I totally agree. You guys are literally saying it better than I am. You know, which is frankly rare. You know, let's not get it twisted. Don't get too big of a head, okay? I make the takes. But I gotta say, you guys are actually chiming in with some pretty good takes here. Isn't it fun? And I don't know, man, but I just think humor and going right at a thing is a useful way to break things down, to break the patterns, to get a more interesting way to talk about ideas and to diagnose them. I think this is a Zen thing, a psychological thing. I don't know. I am very impressed. All jokes aside, I am impressed with how you guys are making sense of this. You guys get it. Like, it seems like a lot of you get it. C-Dub says with $10 holla, really appreciate it, man. Says, it took me 30 years to find a wife that loves Star Wars. We want girls to like it, but not at our own expense. No one asked for the Force to be female. My wife hates Disney Star Wars more than I do. Yeah. Yeah, man. Oh, man. And wouldn't it just be great if like we could all come together and feel that way and like actually criticize Disney directly and say, don't do this anymore. But of course, that's why it became such a thing. That's why they used weird tactics like scapegoating and obfuscating responsibility to deflect that onto sexism. So again, part of why I even leaned in jest was to sort of break that paradigm. To sort of say like, okay, is that all you've got? Is that the only thing that's going to actually intellectually engage with this argument? Well, let's move past that. Can you address the actual, like, and I'll address on your terms. I'll actually meet you with no girls allowed. Do you know what I mean? But hey, not everybody's gonna get it. Some people are gonna be fucking mad. Whatever, man. Real Star Wars women fans. Brix, hey, you deleted it as I was reading it. Justified should read the Star Wars romance novel on stream to repent his sins. It would be great content. Storyline with Justin. Damn. How is moving past by still hashing it, though? John, are you drunk, dude? How is moving past by still hashing it, though? Brother, this has been like 4 or 5 messages from you. Just take a second, double check the thing, and then hit enter. My guy, I can't find the frequency of like whatever's going on in your brain right now. You gotta put the words together the right way. Real Star Wars women fans will know you're joking, Josh. Those who felt offended are the problem. I don't even think they're the problem. Actually, ironically, they're not the problem at all. These women are not doing anything wrong, actually. These women are actually they're just being fans, dude. It's not their fault at all. They have every right to be upset at me for saying that Disney fucked up by giving them exactly what they wanted. Do you know what I'm saying? And maybe that's the thing I'm trying to like get at. No, they're like, dude, I actually have no animus towards these women. I think it's just like case in point, like this is what it is. Typing faster than he can think. I mean, I've been there, dude. But communication, it's important. What would you say if you weren't, did you? Yeah, see, exactly, Ricky. That's the kind of shit I'm getting hit with all day today. I feel like I'm having a stroke, to be honest with you. This is wild. You guys are really tripping me up. It's like ignoring the loyal customer to get the new customer, but nothing. Yeah. So it would be like, hey, McDonald's is going to start serving bruschetta, but not any kind of bruschetta. Artisan bruschetta, goat cheese, pickled pears, prosciutto, arugula, like a fucking fancy bruschetta. Okay, and all of a sudden, you know, a whole bunch of people are like, you know, I never really fucked with McDonald's, but this bruschetta is lit, right? And then all of a sudden, you're in McDonald's, 2 a.m., you're trying to get a quarter pounder, and there's a dozen different color-haired McDonald's customers that are getting bruschetta at 2 a.m. And the guy behind the counter looks past them all and looks to me, and he's like, sorry, man, it's going to be a minute on your burger. You know? Oh, look at this. Now you guys get to see what happens. It's the interdimensional beings. It's the interdimensional beings. Not enough memory to open this page? What does that even mean? maybe RAM problem or HDD, SSDDD, yeah, something like that. I mean, it's something like that. That's for sure. Josh, how do you have 16 gigs of RAM? Come on, it's the big 25. You got to have at least 64. Oh, I have more than 16, don't I? I don't know. I don't know things. Someone help me. Help me. Help me. All right, should we talk about some other stuff? Should we talk about some other stuff, guys? I actually do want to talk about Rise of Skywalker and the cost from Forbes. I know. More Star Wars. And it's not very positive. Chill out. Let me see if I can pull this up for you. Same Forbes article. Oh, you thought you could stop me, Kathy? Think again. Think again. We're going to try this again. We tried this. How many times did we try this yesterday? We tried this like 2 or 3 times yesterday, didn't we? Mike gonna clip out again? No. All right, let's give it a shot. Okay. All right, so this is actually kind of an interesting story making the rounds. Wanted to talk about this yesterday, but chat ruined the clip. So we'll talk about it today. So Forbes is kind of on this run of telling on people. They told on James Gunn recently with the theatrical for Superman, did some very good research there, which, by the way, I just want to say, I saw some people trying to say that Caroline Reed is somehow not an incredible reporter because she's a contributor to Forbes. My God, the cope from the people that want to act like Disney is doing fine is crazy. No, she's an incredible reporter, has done a lot of great reporting in other outlets, including The Guardian, where she broke down some really interesting financial stuff. She's a good reporter. This whole stupid idea that because it's a fucking contributor, it somehow doesn't hold water is so crazy. So anyway, point being, Forbes is known as, covering finances. That's kind of their wheelhouse. And they've done a pretty good job over the past couple of years of leaning into pop culture a little bit as business intersects with pop culture, mostly around production costs for big Hollywood things, shows, movies. So they've been telling on people. They told on Gunn. They told on Marvel this year. Well, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they're telling on Star Wars again. But there's actually a very good reason why. So it says here, cost of Star Wars Rise of Skywalker approaches $600 million. Okay? Now, I'm not going to read everything in this article, although it is a good article, and I recommend you read not just this article, but a lot of these other things that Forbes has been doing recently, because it's counter-narrative, at the very least, to the Hollywood trades. The Hollywood trades will certainly try to tell you one thing. Forbes is occupying a space where they are at least giving you another version of the story. Make up your own mind, but I think you should read the stuff that Forbes is putting out these days. Anyway, point is this. So they're revealing, and this is fascinating to me, on Monday of this week, a filing did go through UK legislation, which brought the total cost of the Rise of Skywalker up to $593.7 million. Now, a lot to explain here. For some of you, you're actually going to get a lot out of this. Some of you are probably already asleep. It's fine. Do your thing. For some of you that are, actually paying attention, this is going to be interesting to you. We talk often about Hollywood accounting and how Hollywood will hide the numbers and play silly accounting games all over the place. So one of the things that's going on here is because Disney made the production company for this film in the UK, everything had to be calculated and itemized in a way that you do not have to do if it goes through Hollywood. Okay? Disney did this so that they would receive massive tax breaks and benefits from shooting in the United Kingdom. But in order to do that, because the UK and Europe in general is like more litigious, they have more taxes, they have more red tape. It's harder to get things approved over there, right? So because of that, Hollywood creates completely separate entities for movies that shoot in the UK because all of the financing is going to be under the purview of the UK government. Does that make sense to you guys? So what I'm basically telling you is this is why we know for sure when it comes to The Rise of Skywalker. And also, too, I've heard some other reporting on this. They actually do pay this out over years and not reveal final costs for years and years and years. That's done intentionally as well, because we're 6 years later right now, right? At least, right? 6 years later? 6? Yeah. 6 years later, and we're finally getting the revealed cost, okay? That's wild. So for the longest time, Disney could tell shareholders that it's profitable and all this other sort of stuff. Speaking of profitability, guys, when you dig into the actual numbers here, she reveals, and I'll just say this here. I do want to read this part. It's kind of interesting. She says, the filings are a gold mine of financial information as they reveal everything from production, overall costs, to the level of reimbursement, right down to the headcount, salaries, and even the Social Security payments to staff. They also reveal whether the movie costs more or less than the studio originally budgeted for. And she talks about here how the budgets of movies made in the United States are usually close-carded secret as the studios combine the cost of them into overall expenses and don't itemize them as much is spent on each item. It's different in the UK. So that's like kind of what I was just explaining to you, right? Okay. Now down in here, it is kind of interesting. Basically, due to the math that they have done over at Forbes, they estimate the movie Rise of Skywalker made Disney $48.6 million in profit at the box office. Okay? So I want to just linger on that for a second. So Rise of Skywalker, which literally cost them about $600 million. Okay? $600 million went through accounting. That money was spent by this production company. $600 million. And Disney took home $48.6 million in profit. Now, what makes that even more interesting, and Disney could not have known that this would happen 6 years later when this finally, showed us what's under the skirt. We live in a world where the Demon Slayer movie is making hundreds of millions of dollars. We live in a world where the Chainsaw Man has already made $30 million, and it only opened in Eastern markets, and it's only been in theaters for 2 weeks. So I don't know, guys. I mean, this is I think again, it's worth talking about this sort of stuff. I think Forbes has done a good job of sort of like being on the nose and really showing you what's actually happening with Hollywood. Over the past couple of years, it has, like, the discussion around movies and pop culture in general has changed. And there is an element of sports talk that's kind of taken over a bit, where the profitability of a thing is kind of now looked at a little bit as the score of a game or the record of a team in a season. So that's actually becoming a more interesting part of the report card. The irony from Hollywood's perspective is that Hollywood always actually did it the opposite way, where they actually would try to say that they didn't make any money, and the reason was so that they wouldn't have to pay back investors and they could funnel cash in a sort of very Hollywood way, let's say. Okay? So Hollywood for like 30 years has actually been trying to prove that they don't make money, and all of a sudden the industry's flipped, and now we're making fun of them for how little money they make. It's wild, okay? And again, Disney could not have known that 6 years later, when it's finally revealed, they would look even worse because this brand is completely fallen apart, and you have anime literally making more money than them, right? So it's a fascinating story, guys, and I think you look at that $5 billion, right? Because everybody says when it comes to Kathy, Oh, those movies made what? You make $5 billion with 4 movies or whatever. Yeah, Rogue One, Solo, and then the trilogies. Yeah, 5. So there's a lot of sort of cushioning of what happened at Star Wars because of the big numbers. But years later, when we're actually looking at the financials here, and I think this is a little amplified by like just where the state of Star Wars is. Because here's the other thing. How much money did Rise of Skywalker make? 1.1 billion? 1.1 billion about, I think. So let me just ask you this. Do you think, chat, that Sean Levy's movie is going to make 1.1 billion? Do you think Mando Grogu is going to make 1.1? I guess what I'm saying is, do we expect either of those movies to actually make a $48 million profit? So, you know how Hollywood production is down like over 30%? Did you know that Hollywood production levels are actually lower now than they were during parts of the actual writers' strike? Like, Hollywood, not in the sort of weird, like, Hollywood sense, but like the actual town, the actual people, going through some shit right now, man. Like, going through some shit. And like, when you look at these numbers from Forbes, okay, have you ever been a part of a company, or have you ever had a family friend maybe, or a family member that was a part of a company that went bankrupt, that collapsed? Usually, although there are signs, it usually gets to like a pretty staggering place where all of a sudden they can't afford to pay the employees anymore. And that's when shit just is completely done. So, there's some real scary possibilities happening in this industry. And Disney, who was such a juggernaut in this industry for so long, might have actually just did maybe one of the worst things you could do in business, which is overexpand right before a massive inflection point and the entire market changing. I mean, that is a tale as old as time in business. Overextending right before a black swan event or an inflection point that drastically changes, making all of your investments liabilities. And that is kind of bared out for Disney. So this is just the latest thing here, man. This is crazy. So yeah, what do you guys think, man? What do you guys think? I know not all of you care. Some of you are going, boring. Numbers, boring. One of my clients filed for bankruptcy last week. I knew it was going to happen months ago. Just their actions. Yeah, I mean, you can kind of see it coming. And like, how many people has Disney fired in the last couple of years? It's probably thousands. You know what I mean? It's probably thousands of people. In fact, let's just ask ChatGPT. To be fair, they are hiring too, so it's not always net. Maybe it'll give us a rough estimate here. Because, like, they have to report these numbers, right? So, 7,000 job cuts in early 2023. More than 8,000 cuts since then. In May of 2024, couple hundred. September 24, couple hundred. And then March, couple hundred. So, looks like about 15,000 to 16,000 people since 2023. Pretty wild. Pretty wild. And now it's like a dual inflection point because one is streaming, and then right off the bat, before shit is even settled, AI will be scarier. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, John. That I understood, by the way. Thank you. And I think you're right. I mean, in times of great flux and change, it's smaller companies that are better able to adjust. Like Disney, in some ways, is a victim of its own success over the past 50 years, and then also a victim of how rapidly things have changed. Like, things aren't just changing, they're changing so rapidly. And I think Disney's just like been kind of just behind the times, but the times are moving fast, so they get more and more behind. Yeah. Holly, what? Oh my God. Kid movies will be around forever. Disney will be here long after you and me. Zootopia and Avatar will make $1 billion at the end of the year. Disney will be okay. So, C Black, I mean, I understand dude, there are a lot of people that agree with you, by the way, but let me ask you one question. Actually, I'll ask you several, but so let me just ask you this. Real talk. If Zootopia and Avatar both underperform, will you feel the same way? If those movies both underperform, because I'll tell you this, I think both those movies might underperform. I love Avatar. I'm super excited for it. I hope it crushes it. And Avatar's funny because everybody always counts it out, and it's very hard to count Jimmy Cameron out, you know? But if those two films underperform, yeah, I don't know. And this is also why they needed that break. This is why Kathy goes to Bob Iger to get the break. Isn't that super obvious now? Just a Fad says, "Fuck Star Wars. Star Wars doesn't even like Star Wars. Maybe an actual Jedi movie instead of just another copy pasta BS with Bounty Hunter, Mando, and mid-match." Holy shit. Holy shit. If the Avatar people win again on some BS, I'm not seeing that crap. Oh, okay. Right on, man. First 2 seasons of Mando were amazing. It's true. That's a good point. Why the government is so difficult to adapt and make big changes. Yep. It's like the expression, it takes time to turn the Titanic around. And Disney, unfortunately, is like, they're Titanic. They're Titanic in nature. So it's very difficult for them to navigate. I'm going to be honest, Star Wars is done for at this point. So, I mean, Star Wars is at its lowest point ever. It's remarkably dead. But so long as there are a couple of hundreds of us that still that like it and say no girls allowed, it'll never be dead. You know what I'm saying? Avatar is going to make money just from people trying to see the Doomsday trailer. Fair, actually. Yeah, that's a good point. You might have a point on that one, yeah? Yeah. The life of Star Wars depends on Starfighter. I think Starfighter has the ability to do a lot of good for the brand. And maybe take hope away from a couple other people too. So I guess we'll see, yeah. I guess we'll see. Let's see here. What else do we have on the agenda? Star Wars costs. The KK Iceberg. You know what's funny, Dark Angel? I've actually been really into the icebergs lately. So guys, icebergs is this like kind of concept of charting the surface level understanding of something into the deeper understanding of something. Have you ever seen these charts? The icebergs? Let me see if I can find you one. So I like this icebergs charts Reddit here. Let me see if I can find you one that makes this will make sense to you. Hang on. Let's see your Final Destination. Lost. Oh my god. I've never seen this one, and it looks absolutely fucking insane. So let's look at this one. This is an example of an iceberg, okay? And I want to do, by the way, I want to do one because there's a Warhammer iceberg that's really famous, and it's really crazy. And I want to do a stream, a marathon stream, where the stream doesn't end until we know every part of the Warhammer iceberg. Okay. So, here's an example of the iceberg. At the top level, you have the numbers, the temple, the new man in charge, Richard's eyes, Nikki and Paulo, the island works in mysterious ways, the crash of the beach, Dioramaville are less than a mile apart, but the bamboo grove Jack wakes up in is 20 miles from the beach. Like all of these sort of things you start to understand, the smoke monster, ocean, 815. Then a little bit deeper, you realize that there's some mice and men elements, writer strike in season 4, John equals Satan, Dalai Lama test, which I don't even know what that is. Lost is mostly David Lindelof project and J.J. Abrams. Sawyer hates going by his name, James, because James is also his father's name. And then you go all the way down to the deepest, craziest level. And early developments had Boone as a schizophrenic who was running out of his medicine on the island. Ben was meant to be killed off in late season 3 or early season 4. Ilyana in season 6 was supposed to be revealed as the daughter of Jacob. Darren Aronofsky canceled episode. There was a Darren Aronofsky episode of Lost? Get the fuck out of here. Like, you see what I mean? Like, I didn't even know that. That's insane. What the fuck? Lindelof called the island a crashed spaceship on a panel hosted by Jimmy Kimmel. What? So, like, do you see what I mean? Like, that's an iceberg. And they're really fun. It's just a fun way to, like, navigate information. Maybe I should make a Kathleen Kennedy iceberg. Wouldn't that be interesting? Let me see if I can find another one for you. Oh, here's a really good one. You got any sports ball fans? Here's one that really easy to understand. Okay, so at the top level, you have a touchdown and a field goal. A little bit deeper understanding, you have an extra point and a defensive touchdown. Then you have a 2-point conversion and a safety. Then you have a defensive 2 points and a fair catch kick. And then a 1-point safety. Do you see what I mean? Like, the most obscure thing is at the bottom. The deepest level of understanding, and then like all the way up. But yeah, I've actually been thinking about doing a whole video series or a series of streams where we break down icebergs. I think it would be really fun. Yeah, let's look up the 1-point safety. I think I've heard of this before. It's like a very unique way of doing it. Maybe on you just barely touch the ball and it goes through when you're kicking or something. Like, it's something like that. Let's look it up. How do you score a 1-point safety in football? The mythical 1-point safety. A 1-point safety can only happen on a conversion attempt. That means after a touchdown during either an extra point kick or a 2-point conversion try. It cannot happen during normal play. Team A tries for an extra point or a 2-point conversion, and something crazy happens where Team A kicks the ball for it or runs for 2 points. Team B gains possession, like interception, pass block, kicks it up. Team B, while trying to return it, retreats into their own end zone and gets tackled or commits a penalty there. So do you understand what it is? Because it's a dead play. So if the defense, if the defensive team has a safety scored against them by doing some bullshit of like going out and coming back into the end zone, then the offensive team scores the 1-point conversion, which in this case is called a 1-point safety. So now you learned something. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. Yeah, so they're cool, man. I like icebergs. I think they're kind of an interesting way to organize information. It's kind of fun. All right, you know what? Should we do one more Star Wars story that's actually positive and call it a day? I think Justin is like really looking for more Star Wars stuff. Are there any details on what Henry Cavill's Warhammer movie is going to be about? There's no detail. There's no like exact details. The rumors are that it's going to start with a show. So it's going to start with a streaming show on Amazon, and then eventually they want to do movies. There are rumors that indicate it's going to involve the Scouring, which is essentially a time period in the lore after the Horus Heresy, right after the Emperor goes onto the Golden Throne. So the Emperor is put on the Golden Throne, and then they're like tracking down the traitors after the Civil War. That is the rumor. That's the rumor, yeah. Yeah, but there is rumors of movies as well. It's just there's not too much to go on. You didn't cover the Doomsday reshoots. Okay, I'll cover the Doomsday reshoots. Then I want to cover something more Star Wars, okay? Jeez, man. Can I live? Can I live, chat? So this one's kind of interesting, man. Marvel Avengers Doomsday reshoots begin as Teyonah Parris spotted on set filming new scenes. What? Note, this post contains some potential spoilers. Following the wrap of Marvel's Avengers Doomsday, reshoots have begun during post-production. Teyonah Parris has reportedly started filming her scenes for Doomsday. According to insider James Mack, Parris was spotted on set for the reshoots. She will reprise her role as Monica, who first appeared in WandaVision and later in the Marvels. Okay, so that's interesting. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to James Mack, it's tough because I just don't know with this guy. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of indication that he had access to some leaks from a Scooper Discord, and he's basically been just regurgitating those leaks up there. But I think he's also tried to, like, get out there and break some scoops and stuff from other people. So we got to take this with a massive grain of salt. Massive grain of salt, okay? And if this is indeed true, chat, more people will report on it. This is not going to fly under the radar, okay? In today's day and age, with everybody's that's over there, if this is actually true and they're starting to do the reshoots, we're going to hear a lot about that. I do think this tracks with, from what I understood the timing to be, although there's an argument to be made that, like, maybe they want to wait until after the holiday season. But I don't know, chat. My impression here is you actually do want to, like, get some work in right now. So, like, basically from here into November, maybe even into mid-December, is actually a good time to get a chunk of shooting. And you'll remember that way back in the day when they were making Multiverse of Madness, that was a thing. They shot 7 days a week, 16-hour days for 6 weeks, starting in, like, November. Before that movie came out. So they did, like, basically a whole nother movie worth of shooting in that time period. So I think they will probably shoot, have the crew working, and then let everybody go home for the holidays and then come back, as opposed to allowing everybody to just, like, be gone and skeleton crew until after the holidays. Frankly, I don't think they have enough time to do that. I think there's too much to do. So I wouldn't be surprised if this was actually real. It does kind of line up with my understanding of how these reshoots would go. So again, we'll get more information if that's actually what it is. Now, it is a little bit interesting that it is Teyonah. If it is actually Monica, that's interesting. She could be shooting any number of things, right? So the last time we saw her was at the end of the Marvels, and she's with the X-Men. of that universe, which is reported to have a lot of screen time and a lot to do in Doomsday. So she could be shooting with the X-Men actors. It is also possible she's shooting with the Avengers, because I believe they probably will recruit her, like get her back, like find her, you know what I mean? Like I'd imagine they're going to get her. So they could be shooting stuff with her then. I tend to believe, chat, and I wonder what you guys think about this. I actually tend to believe that Monica and the sort of spectrum powers that she has are going to be pretty important. And they could be something that Doctor Doom needs, or they could be something that Reed Richards wants, or the Avengers want, or maybe Loki wants to try to like stop Doctor Doom. So I do get a sense that she's relatively important to the plot of the film. She's important in the sense that she's a catalyst to stuff, for sure, just being the thing, you know, causing the incursion and shit like that, right? But possible even more. And there's questions of like, okay, so if they're making the arcs, right? And there's some evidence that they are making the arcs. So the sort of TLDR of this, guys, and like many of you know this, but just if you don't, it feels as though incursions are happening. Doom is looking for things. Ultimately, he's trying to get to where Loki is. Ultimately, he's trying to recreate all of reality and stop the incursions from destroying the multiverse. But he's going to basically create Battleworld, okay? And we don't know exactly what that's going to look like, but for all intents and purposes, it is very likely that there are no other universes really left. And instead, all that's left is Battleworld and maybe like dying timelines, dead timelines, dying timelines, and shit like that, right? Okay. So then, like, there's this concept of the arcs, where when we get into Secret Wars, there's very likely to be a whole bunch of Marvel characters that essentially just live on Battleworld, meaning like Doom goes out, grabs up as many characters as he can from the dying multiverse, smashes them all together, and creates Battleworld, and there will be Marvel characters there like that. But just like in the Jonathan Hickman Secret Wars run, it's very likely also going to be the case that certain characters from their universes are going to be in a craft called the Raft, which would survive the collapse of the multiverse and then pop up on Battleworld. And so therefore, like from the story structure perspective, what you then have is characters that remember the old universe, characters that remember the way things were, right? And that is useful to the story, because then they're going to try to uncover the truth, expose Doom, and try to fix everything, right? So that's very useful. I think it's possible Monica Rambeau is a part of the team that survives into Battleworld, the team that survives on the Ark. And it is even possible that her powers are maybe what allows them all to do that and to pop up on Battleworld. So, look, she's awesome, man. I think she's a great actor. I think she's kind of a fan favorite, to be honest. Like, we've talked about this before, but, like, respectfully, you know, with all due respect, Monica Rambeau, like, that thing is crazy. And also, like, she's just, like, more fun and chill than a lot of the other female characters. It's weird. Like, I don't know. She's just chill. People like her. So you can't predict some of this stuff, right? It's like wrestling. Who's going over? Who's the babyface? Who's the heel? You can't force this stuff. Sometimes, like, the crowd just resonates with a certain character. You know, they're trying to make fetch happen with Miss Marvel. They're trying to make fetch happen with Brie Larson. It's not going, you know? Monica's dope, dude. People like Monica. She was cool in WandaVision. She's fucking cool, dude. She's cool. We like Monica. So you got a good one that people like. And especially with all these other female characters that people are really not fucking with. It's just, I think that's a very valuable thing. So I say put her in there, man. Throw her in there. And I'd like to see her in Secret Wars, have a good role in Secret Wars. And I think that's maybe just one of the ways you could utilize her character or whatever. So a lot to be said there. Again, I think to take it back to the sort of reshooting thing, if they are actually reshooting, because James Mack has gotten stuff right. It's difficult, man. It's difficult because I don't think he's actually like a great scooper, but he does have stuff right. He has gotten stuff right. He did have that Discord stuff. So maybe he's right. Maybe they're reshooting. I think we'll find out soon. So anyway, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about that, man? Any takes? The fucking kittens, come on. That scene in the Marvels is not what Marvel needed. Yeah. That's probably a bad look. I made a short a while back about how her and Miss Marvel powers can work together. Oh, okay, nice. Oh, I like that. I like that idea, man. I mean, they kind of set that up in the Marvels movie, which is your favorite movie, Kendall. So that's probably why you cooked that theory. Tim O'Brien says, here's a super to tell you about my missed super. I think I read your missed super, bruh. I think I read that. Let me see it, Tim. Oh, a $10 holla. Appreciate it, man. Says, it's crazy how many people didn't see the nuance of what you were saying with that tweet, the trolling, the rage baiting of it, LOL. It went over the heads of people who just want an excuse for outrage. I think there's a lot of truth in what you're saying. I think there's probably some well-meaningful people that are not seeing it. Even some of these people, it's not even necessarily their fault. I try to have a lot of empathy, man. But I also got to call it like I sees it, you know? So I actually don't have like animus towards these people, and it's like, whatever, right? And in some ways, it's not their fault that, like, division and media and social influence and people, bad actors and everything's so hostile and everything, it's not their fault. Are you going to see Avatar to see the Doomsday trailer? No, but I'm very excited to see the Doomsday trailer. I like Avatar, bro. I like Jake Sully, man. I like those movies. So I'm going for the love of the game, but also I will be very excited to see the Doomsday trailer, yeah. Should I do an out-of-theater reaction? Should I watch the Doomsday trailer, come out and do an out-of-theater reaction, and then go back in and watch Avatar? That'd be kind of fun. Doom wants the Bengals and the 10 Rings, which will be 2 of the MacGuffins in his movie. We haven't heard anything about that in a long time, though. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, and I think, like, yeah, that would be cool. But I'm starting to, like, not be sure about that. Just because we haven't heard, like, anything about that, Def need to record it and post it on Twitter. Yeah, I think that'd be the move, yeah. Yeah, that'd be the move. Maybe if I had people to help me post things, I could post more. Maybe if I had people helping me post things, we could do a little bit more posting here, huh? Loose ends everywhere. Yeah, a little bit. No, the actual trailer. No, I'm not doing that. Why? So you can see it? No. You can hear me yap about it. Get an Instagram to post. I do need to get on Instagram a little bit more. Especially because we're going to start the OnlyFans soon. And I've heard Instagram is a great way to promote your OnlyFans. So, it'll be good. I'm down for Susanna Hoffs. I don't know what that means. Josh, what if the Doomsday plan in the movie isn't Battleworld, but the Avengers actually stopping him and inadvertently cause Battleworld? Ooh, that could be interesting. Yeah, that could be really interesting, man. Outer Rim Transmission says, Avatar is off the radar for me. Not really a fan. No hate towards it, but crazy how it's zero pop culture influence. Yeah, that is interesting. But you know what it kind of reminds me of is I think anime has a cultural influence, but I think a lot of people don't see it. So in a similar way, I think some people would look at anime and Demon Slayer and make that same comparison. And yet it's like crushing. It's so obviously relevant, right? But I do get what you're saying, because it does have that same feeling, right? Where it's like, damn, this shit popped. It's like that movie in China that made like $2 billion. It's like, nobody's talking about this, we love anime. I do love anime. I just think a lot of, like, I've had people in our chat be like, anime sucks. Anime's a fad or a phase, it's, and I'm like, nah, dude, like, anime's actually kind of lit. Yeah. It feels like anime and some of these series have more of a philosophical influence. I think there's some of that. Yeah, some of them do. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. If you guys hate anime, I really feel like you're missing out, man. Anime is, there's just really great stories, man. There's just like some really great stories. Some really great stories out there. You know? Okay. Fuck anime, it's just gooner bait. See, that's what I mean. It's like there's people like Josh that like actually have that opinion. You know? Crazy. Crazy, Josh. Wild. You should tell Star Wars Theory to add your channel link to the Nerd Theory description. I couldn't find it until it did some detective work. Well, first of all, thanks for finding me. And yeah, we should probably all do a little bit better at that. I don't even have a Linktree link on my Twitter. I should probably have a Linktree link because I made a Linktree link to like all the channels and all the accounts. And I deadass don't have shit on mine. You look at my Twitter and it's like no link, you know? How am I supposed to get OnlyFans? How am I supposed to get people on my OnlyFans? I need a link. Hey, wait. You guys couldn't hear me? Did it reset all the shit again? Oh, I just thought it was... All right, let's get this back. Man, these interdimensional beings, man. You know? Like, why me? You know? Why little old me? I'm just out here chilling. Just out here chilling, giving, like, seriously very mild takes. Nothing too crazy. Trying to talk to the mother world. Come pick me up. I've had enough of these motherfucking humans. Take me home. Josh needs a social media manager? Yeah, probably. Yeah, I could probably... Why, are you volunteering? Which one of you can I force to do all of this stuff for little to no pay, preferably none? And I could, like, abuse you and be really mean about it and hold you accountable for all the mistakes I make. Your mic is still glitching? No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Fuck you, no, pay me, man. Yeah. They would get fired in less than a month. True. Did you say the new Halo announcements are coming soon? When are they? I mean, I know relatively speaking they are soon. Right. I would make sure you don't get canceled. Oh, dude, you got your job cut out for you, but appreciate you. Thank you. What kind of abuse are you talking about? I don't think I can answer that question. You know, I think I have to plead the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. Should we tempt fate and do one more Star Wars story and try to record this, or is it like over? I'm kind of confused. Like, I don't know what's going on here. I feel like I fixed the problem, and now maybe I didn't fix the problem because the last one like crashed the stream or whatever. All right, let's do it. Let's tempt fate. So every once in a while, a little rumor pops up for Star Wars, and all of us pretend that things could be good again, and that exciting things could happen, and we could we could like Star Wars again. So I'm looking at this over here. In Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 2, it seems that the one who was supposed to have their torso sliced open will make a comeback. I wonder if Maul will appear with a body similar to Vader's after all. Now, the thing that's kind of wild about this, right, is that this is a Lucasfilm employee. And it appears to be some kind of concept art thing. And so, I saw a couple Star Wars fans talk about this. I saw Eck bring this up. I saw Star Wars Meg talking about this. This is from an official Lucasfilm employee. Let's see what the replies say here. Maybe. Uh-oh. Did she delete it? Was it proven to be false? No? What the hell? Is it... What the hell happened? Is it false? Did she delete the tweet? What's going on here? Hang on, let's see here. Oh, she did delete it. I wonder why she deleted it. Maybe it's a fugazi, you know what I mean? Like, maybe it's bullshit. But I did see Eck talking about it a little bit before, and then I saw her talking about it. Let's do something crazy here, chat. Let's consider... Oh, you're watching Bleach, Baby Bird? I love Bleach. Yeah, Elise and I really like that one. We really got into it. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Let's do a little thought experiment here. Let's just consider that this is real, okay? Number one, do we want Kenobi Season 2? Do we even want Kenobi Season 2? I've mixed feelings about it. Love Ewan, love the character, love Hayden, love the character. You know, don't really love a lot of the direction of that show. Don't love what was done with the budget. Don't love the Reva character. Don't love how they made the Grand Inquisitor look like some bad makeup from like the Munsters. It looked so embarrassingly bad. Didn't like the goofy ass Lady Palm Strike dragon people where people are 6 feet away. You know, little Leia underneath the trench coat. Like there's a lot of bad stuff that I don't like. But again, I like Kenobi. I like the character. I wouldn't mind more Kenobi. I almost feel like we need more Kenobi. Now, Kenobi is in Ahsoka Season 2. I'm very confident that that is true. Could have been removed, of course. Take everything with a grain of salt. You never know. Maybe it just didn't work, and they were like, we don't know about this. But from what I understand, Kenobi is in Ahsoka Season 2, and I think he's going to have a pretty meaningful little thing to do there. And I think they're trying to sort of get a sense for how people feel for the character to potentially do another season. If they're really doing a Season 2 of Kenobi that involves Maul, what do we think of that? Like, what do we think of that? Because... So this is before Rebels, right? This would be technically before he kills Maul on Tatooine in the Twin Sons episode, because Luke's like 7 or 8 at that point, right? It's close. It's close. I wonder if the effort is to take the story to that moment in live action, which I'd be a little bittersweet about because, frankly, Twin Sons is one of the best episodes of Rebels. Maybe one of the best episodes of animated Star Wars ever. It is incredible. But it's a little inaccessible because it's a cartoon and whatever, so maybe the live action, doing that in live action could be cool. Technically, they showed some stuff from Clone Wars, and they're going to show even more stuff from Clone Wars in Ahsoka Season 2. I guess my take is I don't love it. Like, I don't love it. At the same time, Maul is pretty cool. You certainly can't do more Vader. He does have history with Maul. It seems like they're building up more Maul. I don't know. Maybe Maul, Kenobi. What do you think, chat? I have to know what you guys think about this. What do you think, guys? I have mixed feelings here. They must be building to a Maul movie. It certainly feels like that could be in play. It's also possible that Maul is being built up to transition into his apprentice. What's her name? I forget her name. You know, the sexy red Twi'lek lady. Who, by the way, she was going to be a big part of what maybe George was going to do with the sequels. So maybe they're building up Maul to then have her take over in the current stuff. Could be interesting. Talon. Yeah, Talon. Well, because Talon is literally being set up in the Maul show. Right? So, like, that's not even up for debate. Like, they are literally doing that, where they're filling her out. Pause. Wow. It's kind of... Hey. Kind of interesting. Kenobi! Kind of interesting. Maul didn't know Kenobi was on Tatooine until Rebels, so Kenobi would have to leave again. Fair point. Miss me with this Maul show shit. What? You don't even think the animated one looks cool? Get out of town, Justin. It's like the coolest Star Wars show they got going on. The hell? Don't think it makes sense. Maul needs it to Dark Master Rebel story to add meaning to the Twin Sons bit. Okay. What's more badass than a double-sided lightsaber? Yeah, good point. He goes to save Leia again. Yeah. They all hate you, Kenobi. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, a little bit of that energy, I think some of us are feeling where it's like, dude, at this point, fuck it. Like, really, seriously, at this point, fuck it. Like, not, and that's kind of where I'm at. It's like, this isn't my first choice. I don't know that I would say I love this idea, but fuck it. Let's go. And also, give it more of a budget, please. You know, give it more of a budget. I got it. Kenobi vs. Maul and Darth Taurus, the Minotaur. Disney effort to bring in Lady Gooner audience. My God. Wish they would incorporate Ferris Olin. What? We need Darksider story. Darksider story. A Darksider story would be good. Not gonna lie. I don't think it would make any sense to have a Maul meeting Obi-Wan again until that moment. He kills him and Twin Sons. That's fair. I understand that perspective. I guess that does make it a little tricky. You know, as John stated, he would have to not have that happen on Tatooine, right? Yeah. CO says, after Vader 3, can you in theory just write a movie or a show about Luke and we'll fund it? No, we literally can't because they own the character, so. What's he doubling down on? Someone TLDR it. I'm doubling down on the fact that Star Wars is for everybody. I'm doubling down on the fact that we need to get all of these misogynistic men out of the fandom. I'm doubling down that we need, I think, way more female characters and female leads. Yeah. The old double down, baby. Double down, baby. Star Wars needs a decent budget to do it justice. Yeah, I think so. I mean, budgets, that's like a Hollywood story. Budgets just in general need to go down in Hollywood. You know, it's kind of unsustainable as we just went over. Holy shit. You know? Crazy. But yeah, they need to bring budgets down just in general. But I think what you're saying is like you need resources. Star Wars needs scale and spectacle. And that is it takes resources. Oh no, I haven't heard of that. No. Watching Visions 3. I am gonna watch Visions 3. When does that come out? Soon, right? Or the end of the month, maybe? The end of the month, maybe? Two weeks from now? Nice, yeah. We need a new Star Wars game where you can just lightsaber battle using all of the characters in the universe. Yeah, that'd be kind of fun. I mean, imagine a really dope Star Wars fighting game done in the style of Soul Calibur with an incredible Jedi roster. I mean, how has nobody thought of that? You know? Like, literally, you can make it, 3D. You can make it 2D. You can make it, yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah, that could be so cool. It's because they're too busy thinking about making Star Wars romance novels, Josh. Like, you're literally not wrong. It's so sad. It's so sad. Didn't they have Yoda and Vader in one of the Soul Caliburs? You could get Yoda on Xbox and Vader was on PlayStation or something like that? But no, I have not. There's a He-Man game that's a side scroller, like the Cosmic game. No, that's interesting. Let me look that up. Whoa. So cool. Oh, it looks dope. Nice, dude. That's cool. So it looks like it's on a bunch of platforms. It's on the Switch and stuff. Limited run. What does that mean? Oh, limited run games. Okay. That's cool. I'm not a huge Master of the Universe guy, but I'd play that, especially if it's cheap. Probably got to be. Ahsoka says, Josh, love to you and your family. How are you? And how is your family? And thank you for everything you do. Stay forever who you are. We love you. Oh, that's very nice. Thank you. We're good, man. Family's good. Family's kind of an interesting thing. I'm very blessed because, like, internet shit's wild and, like, this job's weird. But I literally, like, walk away from this and then I have, like, 2 awesome, beautiful kids. Like, they're just so damn sweet and so kind, and they just take you to a totally different place. My wife is like, I can't speak enough highly of my wife. You know what I mean? Just amazing person, so sweet, super sexy, very cute. Takes care of me, takes care of the kids, takes care of the house. She's fucking incredible. So I have like a good life, so I can just kind of, it's very easy for me to sort of tune all this shit out and just, like, like, I won. You know what I mean? Like, so no, I'm doing really good, man. Doing really good. So thank you. Likely to see Maul fight Vader in the Shadow Lords and potential Vader killing Talon. That's what, yeah, something like that. Have a great day. Oh, thank you, man. So appreciate that. I'm still amazed that you caught her. Impressive. Yeah. I don't even fully understand it. I got a little lucky, maybe. Yeah. No, we really have. We just have a beautiful relationship and a beautiful home. I mean, things happen, it's not always good. There are rough times and we do fight, like I think everybody does. But ultimately, like, we're pretty chill, frankly, pretty privileged, but also pretty chill. I sort of have this philosophy that it's bad karma to not enjoy a good life. You know what I mean? And, we're fortunate in a lot of ways. We got lucky in some ways. But we really enjoy the life that we have, we really, really enjoy it. And we try to do a lot of fun things with the kids. And yeah. So it's really good, man. It's really good. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, 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 bum. Low taper fade. She isn't going anywhere. Yeah, that's the way to lock them down, boys. That's the way to lock them down. We could be getting a novel about Talon or following Rule of Two, Bane. Yeah, something like that. I mean, that would certainly show that they're continuing with that, you know? Yeah. Oh, yes, plus the crazy puppies. Yes. It's it's chaotic over here. Yeah, it's chaotic over here. She shot you with the airsoft gun? That's true love. Yeah, that is true. Yeah. She got me pretty good, too. She got me pretty good, man. Where's Delta Dan? Is he safe? Is he all right? Okay, so guys, we're probably going to get out of here soon. A couple of reminders for you, okay? A couple of things I want to remind you of. Number one, no stream tonight. I know, it sucks. Boo. Boo, Josh, boo. No stream tonight. We'll be back at it next week with the members. Friday, we are doing this stream. Who gets deleted? Who among the current MCU characters should be deleted for the MCU reboot? We're going to go over all of them. 3 different tiers here. I want to talk about characters that should be completely deleted, characters that should be changed, adjusted, but can remain, and then characters that basically can stay the way they are. And we're going to go through all the different characters, talk about what we like about them, talk about what we don't like about them. We'll put them in their category. We'll discuss what changes maybe need to be made to the character, to bring them in. Friday's stream's going to be really fun, so I'm very much looking forward to that. I'll have clips out for you today and tomorrow. No stream tomorrow. We will stream on Friday. And then next week, guys, next week will be a really good week. We'll have a lot of stuff going on. But that Wednesday night for the members stream, I want to specifically finalize some plans for the big video series that we talked about last week. And so I'll have some things to show you next week, so you can look at that. And yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool. So we'll have a lot of fun. Sorry about no stream this week. I just have to get some of these things taken care of. A lot of planning, man. Oh no, it takes a lot of planning to do this job. I'm trying to cook cool ideas. I'm trying to do a good job. I'm trying to actually entertain. I'm trying to actually bring good energy and entertain you guys, but I do need to take some breaks and figure that shit out. So I hope you understand. Much love to you all. Appreciate you. I'm gonna get on out of here. And as I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video. This ain't an inspirational sports movie. Turn that shit off. Yeah, that's better. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? Oh man, another happy landing. Another glorious day here at Nerd Avengers Towers. Can you guys believe it? Do you guys even, like, it's crazy how I can dance between the raindrops. You know? Like why even, like, do it? Like, just leave it alone, you know? But, like, shit. You know? Anyway, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you for all the love, all the support. I am here for you. I will continue to be here for you, and we are going to have a lot of fun, a lot of entertainment, a lot of breaking stuff down, a lot of shit takes, a lot of stirring the pot, a lot of trolling, a lot of crash outs, a lot of getting triggered, and more. So get out there, enjoy the rest of your day, and do me a favor on your way out. Actually, do me too. Open up your third eye and wash out your stinky, stinky butt.